So we got another one straight from China. The company that I really don't like their name, Powkiddy, but you know what? I'll be honest. They do make some decent stuff. Some of their handhelds have been okay. And they do make things that are in the budget, range that I think some people may like. And that's where this one lies, the Powkiddy V10. This one I got from Go Game Geek. They sent this to me for purpose of review. It costs around $50. You'll find these for, between 40 to maybe $60. It just really depends. Sometimes, it'll be like, doesn't come with a micro SD card, or it comes with a micro SD card of a certain size with built-in games. The one that I have, they charge $50, comes with 64 gigabyte micro SD card with around 6,000 games built in. But you have to understand, just looking at this thing, it is a very, very basic handheld. It's a small guy. It's a little fella. It has certain capabilities, and if you go into this thing with your expectations in check, you may be pleasantly surprised for the price. Now, as far as the way this thing feels in my hands, it's a decently comfortable handheld. It has these shoulder buttons that I can easily reach and press if a game uses them. It's fine. Okay. Face buttons, D-pad, they all feel okay. Not the greatest in the world, but nowhere near the worst either. They're okay. They're above average. I don't know how else to say it. Like, I can play a fighting game like Street Fighter, do my dragon punches, my Hadoukens, all my diagonals, motions, everything works fine. The buttons respond fine. They feel okay. Really, no major complaints with the way anything feels here. But let's go over quickly the specifications, because for the price here, you're not getting anything crazy amazing. But with the smaller size, we have a 3.5-inch IPS full laminated screen. Resolution is 480 by 320, so that's going to work fine for a lot of stuff here. Now, as far as the CPU, we have a quad-core Cortex A35, my bad, at 1.5 gigahertz. GPU's a Mali G31. We just have 1 gigabyte of DDR3 RAM. So, like I said, you got to keep your expectations in check. Okay? We have a 1 watt speaker, just like bam, right in the middle there. It sounds okay. It's not booming or anything, but it works. Battery life lasts around 8 hours or so. Should be fine. I've played it quite a bit. Didn't really die on me. Played many hours. It was cool. Charging time takes a couple hours. Charge it to full capacity. You got OTG, all that good stuff, right? Comfortable in the hands. Now, with this handheld, the stuff that came built in with that 64 gigabyte, build, was just a lot of basic stuff. You got all your 8 and 16-bit, systems, your handhelds, your Game Gear, Game Boy. Everything that came on this build is going to run perfectly fine. Like, whoever put the build together, they weren't over ambitious putting crazy stuff that's going to be hit and miss. There's really no hit and miss on the build that came pre-installed here. So that's a good thing in my opinion. Sometimes, I can be very critical as far as how the build is set up. The build that came with this thing, it looks nice. It's mostly fine. Is it a little bit of a ROM dump? Not as bad as most of the builds that I've seen. It is fairly clean. It does have its issues here and there, but overall, it's not bad. It's a fairly clean build. Not too much to complain about. It does have PlayStation 1 on there. So one thing to point out with that, a lot of times these guys who put these builds together, oh my God, they put these PlayStation ROMs on there that don't have the music, or they're bad rips, or they're compressed, whatever the case may be, and they won't have music on the PlayStation games. Many reasons that happens. But here I did play a few PlayStation games, and they all had the music, so that's a good thing. That's a real good thing there. So yeah, the PlayStation games that are built in run perfectly fine. Music is there. All the systems running the games great. Looking through the ROM lists, like I said, not a crazy bad build. Everything's going to perform fine. The screen looks good. The speaker, just a little basic speaker, sounds okay. It gets the job done. At the price point of this handheld, it's not the most amazing thing ever. But if all you want is to play some basic stuff, these 8 and 16-bit systems, these handhelds, yeah, even some Nintendo DS. There's a few Nintendo DS games on here. You know, it's easy enough if you want to add some more games or try to push it and see what else you could play on here. You can easily add some more stuff to the micro SD card or, you know, add whatever you want and try that out. But I just test what they ship, you know, with these things as far, you know, to not get your hopes up beyond what they sell this thing as. If you want me to test more, then yeah, definitely drop a comment down below and we can test beyond the capabilities of what was included here. But okay, Nintendo DS runs perfectly fine. Like Nintendo DS, it's cool to see on these types of handhelds, as it's not the most demanding system and it runs on a lot of these lower powered devices just fine. You really don't have an issue with that, and it's kind of neat in all honesty, because like Nintendo 64 as an example will struggle on a lot of these types of devices that are lower powered, you know, budget devices, even some of the more expensive devices that are a little higher powered. It's just the nature of the beast there, I guess, kind of hit and miss with stuff like Nintendo 64. But DS is usually pretty smooth, even on lower powered handhelds like this. So yeah, you should have a good time with Nintendo DS on this handheld. I played a few games. You know, the only challenge with Nintendo DS is, you know, obviously it's a dual screen system, so you kind of got to get accustomed to switching the screens around, that kind of thing. It's pretty simple. Usually the way the emulator is set up is you'll use the shoulder buttons to change the screen orientation and that kind of thing, and it works fine here. But yeah, I played a bunch of games, didn't find any issues with stuff not loading. Played some CPS 3, some Street Fighter, you know, 3 Third Strike, stuff like that. Had no issues doing the, you know, moves in Street Fighter. Like I said, D-pad buttons, they feel okay. Not the greatest, but not really bad either. So yeah, budget handheld. If it's your style, I thought it was okay. Not going to blow your socks off or anything. But there you go. Let me know what you think. If you're interested, go Game Geek down below. Pin comment. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.